This is really a great event. Who would have thought 11 years ago that this would have been a thing every single year?
You know, I wouldn't say it's a can't miss, but I think it's a must do.
Lee Moreau.
Yes,
Ray Fernandez.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you?
Thanks for taking time with me today. I
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it. So I know we know each other,
Yep.
but I don't know if I know everything about you. I'm curious, what is the origin story of Lee Moreau? I know you're from Massachusetts, right?
I am.
I just don't know all of it from there to here. Can you give me like the backstory or a little bit of color where you're from, how you got here?
I am from Massachusetts,
Okay.
and was going to school up there, and I needed a job, and I put myself through college.
Nice.
So I was going to Northeastern, and I did a cooperative education job at Picatinny, and I never went back.
Oh, get out of here.
I finished my college, but I
Right.
came down here, and if you don't mind me making a baseball reference, and like a religious one, I have a mixed marriage.
Okay.
I'm a Red Sox fan,
Oh, gotcha.
and I married a Yankee fan.
That must be tough.
So the marriage has endured. But
Yeah?
Anyway, so this is a wonderful community.
Yeah.
It really is. I came from a nice place, and this place is equally nice.
How did you get to the LHF, and how did this all become part of your thing after being at Picatinny for so many years?
The 5-letter word everybody knows, Marty.
Oh, Marty Kane.
Marty Kane.
He drug you in.
Well, he's a buddy, work associate from Picatinny, a personal friend. I'm on his museum board as a trustee, probably in the early 90s. And when he came up with the idea or the vision of this block party, I volunteered for year one in a much lesser role.
And by the way, let's get to, you do captain the Mislata, right?
Yes. First of all, I watch all your videos as a boat captain.
Terribly kind.
Yes, I'm one of 6 captains, very privileged to have that job on the lake. This will be our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe. It goes fast, right?
Yeah, holy cow. And tell me about that. I know somewhere, I read somewhere that you're hoping at someday to marry somebody on that. Did you ever do it?
Did. Several people.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, really.
So back to, how about the block party, the foundation? Like, you know, we hear a lot, and I've talked to people about what the foundation means. Can you tell me what it means to you, or what your thought is on it?
Well, the tagline is, we want to protect and preserve that.
Okay.
And the foundation is all about that. And you know, they've got a bunch of different pillars or objectives. The one about the block party is really for the community, to try to engage the community in a lot of different ways. Whether you participate as a vendor or sponsor, as you do, or whether you attend, or whether you volunteer, it's all that kind of stuff. So there's about 180 vendors.
That's a lot.
This park isn't big enough on that day. And if it rains, and it has, we'll have 2,000 people show up.
Wow.
And if it's sunny, and forecasted to be sunny, we've counted 3,500 people. But the whole point of having it here is because it's the only place on the lake you can get that many people on the lake with a view of the lake.
Yeah, one time. No, that's great.
So that's what it's about.
And you're managing all of it.
No, I don't do it alone, believe me.
I understand that, but you're the brains behind the operation.
No, it's a team.
Okay, fair
Me,
enough.
Beth, and Barbara are pretty much the team. The foundation supports it. And then there's a group of monthly, we call them volunteers in charge. Everybody's got something to do, and we meet every month to try to plan it better and better. We have feedback from plenty of folks, including Bridge.
You guys have always been super friendly and asking for what we think from the get-go, which is great.
Yeah, so we've been able to make a lot of changes or improvements, and we carry that to the VICs, because the VICs are the volunteers in charge, because the last thing you want to do is ask 200 people to show up in 2 hours, try to get them straight, and then tell you that morning how we're going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to spend a little planning time, to get it squared away. But it's its 10th year. I'll tell you, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive what you pull off.
It's well-oiled, and it's because of all those volunteers willing to put in some extra time to know what has to happen that morning.
What are some things you want everybody to know, or what can they do for the block party or for the lake?
What can they do? Well, they can show up. That's one thing they can do to support all the businesses. So out of 180 vendors, there's about 1/3 small business, 1/3 crafters, and 1/3 nonprofits. The idea for this whole block party is every town has wonderful events.
Mm-hmm.
This is an attempt to get all 4 of the towns that touch the lake or the municipalities to have one event that they all share. This is an example of how those 4 towns collaborate together to make it possible. Here's a quick example. There's only 225 parking spaces for the public, and 2,000 people get in here. How does that happen? Every one of those towns gives us either a school bus or the municipal shuttle bus to get people from off-site parking into here. So without that, it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. But number one thing, show up. That's the easiest and best thing folks can do.
You're going to support, by doing that, preserving and protecting New Jersey's largest
That's pretty
lake.
easy.
Yep.
Just show up.
Just show up.
All right. So besides just showing up, what else can they do maybe?
Well, you could be a vendor, but it's hard to get in
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's hard. Yeah.
We are very
So show up and support the vendors.
Show up and support the
Yeah,
vendors. You can sign up and volunteer for a whole host of things that happen in these 4 communities. It could be a church group. It could be the Knights of Columbus. It could be the Garden Club. All of the towns have nonprofit entities here, and you can support those by learning about them. And if it scratches your itch, you can sign up for it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is the easy message for anybody that can help this event is show up, support the vendors, and get involved perhaps,
Yes.
whether it be as a Vic or in one of the communities that's around the lake.
Correct. And
It's a great message.
so you can also, it's a fun day. There's things like for young families, something called the scavenger hunt. And they can go around the lake, and there's like 7 different stops. You'll stop at the museum to learn about lake life, a little bit about the lake history. You'll go learn how to tie a knot. That's pretty important stuff when it comes
Might
to
be,
boating. Yeah. And as part of an activity, you go over to the Coast Guard Auxiliary, learn how to put on your vest,
Nice.
your life-saving vest. You do that all the time as part of your training and stuff like that. So that's a family-friendly activity that you can go do, have a little bit of fun, and not even realize you might be learning something important.
Right.
So the other thing would be partnerships. You know, we talked a little bit about it with you. We've had a pretty long continuing dialogue about things that we can try to do differently, and we've put them into place. This is not a zero-sum game, you know, where there's only the Bridge Marina.
Right.
Every marina I would love to have 2 rows of boats if
Oh,
I could.
Yeah.
I know it's a busy time of year for you. It's challenging with staff and getting all the boats in. It's the week before Memorial Day weekend.
It's hard timing.
It's a hard time for
It's
you
a big
guys.
return. It's a good value.
And
Yeah.
we love to see you here, and we appreciate the support. So we'd love to see everybody here because our goal is not just to try to support Bridge, who's been very engaging with the foundation,
Thank you.
but to help everybody, you know, on the lake. This is, like I said, not a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
We're here to have true, genuine partnerships.
You really have, by the way. As a vendor, we've been here 10 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
I know.
And you guys have been super friendly. Remember from the get,
Yep.
you asked us what our thoughts were and what we should do, and then you actually did it.
We did.
And
Surprise.
you've been very accommodating. And the other thing that, and I think a lot of folks miss, because everybody thinks this should be a direct ROI or return on investment for the business. And I've always seen it as a long-term investment in the community and in you guys and getting people to the lake, and not just how many things am I going to sell at the event.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, you said it, the words community.
Yeah.
What it is. This is a very sweet spot. When you think about this community, it's very engaging. You go in every town, and everything's, I'm not going to say everything, but sold out, well attended, very well participated. The community truly is engaging.
I think that goes back to you guys have always been very receptive and always looked, you're trying to drive value to the folks that show up.
Yes.
It's great. It's one of your favorite parts about Lake Hopatcong.
There's so much to do, I can't do it all.
Okay.
And I'm retired, and I have a lot of time.
Well, you're busy with this stuff too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit early in the season. But I'm going to go back to, I think this is a wonderful place. And not everybody gets to say that about their town. I don't just live here. I mean, I sleep here and I have a house here, but I live
In the community.
in the community.
It is an amazing,
And I enjoy
special spot that
It
folks
is.
don't realize.
it. It is.
40 miles out of New York.
Yep.
In New Jersey, which is supposed to be such suburbia, we have this beautiful lake.
And I love people, so I like doing it. So whether I'm meeting you about the block party or getting somebody on the boat and finding out if they'd like to be at the block party or if I can marry them.
I'm marrying somebody.
I would hope we could do more of this kind of stuff, because the more people like you, from whether it's a nonprofit or a crafter or a school or another marina, trying to engage the foundation in supporting its purpose, can only help.
Okay.
If that thing turns into a green mud hole,
It's not good for
nobody
any of us.
benefits.
Yeah.
Nobody benefits. It's not just marinas, schools, everything, real estate properties. It's important to keep this thing just as clean, you know, and available as we can. That's probably the most important message. So we want everybody to have a conversation. We don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
You don't agree with everything the foundation does and vice versa. That's not the point. The point is where you have a mutual interest,
We
right?
want the lake to be a good spot.
We want your leaders and business leaders to trust one another enough to get your arms around an issue and go make something happen.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good.
And you're doing it. And we thank you for
Doing the
that.
best we can.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you do.